No, we have to restart already. It was that quick.
No, I think we go with it.
Oh, Lord, how do we go with it after that? What are we supposed to talk about now, Jake? We've been set up for failure.
Welcome to the NoCare podcast. We have been set up for failure.
From day one.
From day one.
From day zero.
We are starting this, and I started out with a zany YouTube "What is up, guys?" to emphasize on the social-political
on the immediate failure of this podcast.
So I'm Jake. This is Noah. You know,
I am Noah.
Reading.
We are here.
No, what are you reading?
I was doing some light reading. This is Brave New World, and then I have The Psychology of Influence and Persuasion, Robert B. Cialdini.
What do you know about Cialdini?
He's my guy. I love him. He knows a lot about facts.
Cialdini.
He's probably fake. I do my sociology class. The dude that made the book, the author, he named his child. Named his daughter. His 12-year-old daughter is named E, and his son, who's 14, has like a 15-word long name. And I'm like, well, how can you be intelligent? Why am I reading your textbook? Give me an actual textbook by somebody who names their children properly. Well, I'm not. Who could you imagine marrying somebody named E? That's the most.
Is it just the letter?
It's literally just the letter E.
That's kind of baller, though.
No, it's not. Your kid is gonna get bullied.
Don't you just think about, you know, like the meme where it's just E?
You think making your child's name?
It's automatic name recognition.
That's what. No, but
that's
like,
gonna
honestly,
put you ahead in the business world.
Get ready for the millennial wave of stupid ass names like that, because millennials will think like, oh man, I'm gonna name my kid Harambe because I remember 2016 when the world wasn't falling apart.
Do you remember the outrage after the last season?
Lean in. You want to be close to the mic.
Oh. See, we're working out kinks here.
The kinks? What kinks are we bringing in already?
No. Like kinks isn't like
okay.
problems.
We'll talk about kinks later.
Yeah, no. We throwing it out there to start the entire season. This is season 1, episode 1.
Era.
Sega Genesis. Epoch. The epoch of our podcast. Yes.
The golden age.
But what I was saying though was think about how many people were outraged after the last season of Game of Thrones when they named their daughter Daenerys. Did you hear about that?
She turned out to be a psycho.
Yeah, and people were pissed. They were pissed at the showrunners. They're like, "Oh, you went and heel turned Daenerys, but I named my daughter Daenerys. What is she supposed to do now? Maybe you shouldn't be naming your daughter after a series that doesn't know how it's gonna end."
But Daenerys is kind of a cool name. That's kind of a sexy name. I fuck with that.
I think even after it happened, I think it's even better that you named your daughter Daenerys, because like it's like.
See, yeah, actually, now that I think about it, if your name is Daenerys and you're growing up like an average white girl in the U.S., you're not going to be anywhere near as attractive as Emilia Clarke. So you're always going to be looking up to Daenerys being this bad bitch, but you're just going to be ugly.
How do you think I feel with Jake Gyllenhaal?
That is not the same. How many people are named Jake? Daenerys is like if you're named Daenerys, you know it's because of Game of Thrones. It's not like nobody names their kid Jake after Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jakes.
There's not that many, I feel like. There's more famous Mohammeds. It's just a more popular name, that's how it works.
Well, if I look up top Jake names, there's Jake Bug. I guess it's the surname of Kennedy. So I guess I could in an alternate reality there's a Jake Kennedy. Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys.
R.I.P.
That show is actually hilarious. I watched the first 3 episodes of Clone High School. And it is just the stupidest. It was.
Lean in.
Do you know Do you know like where it was like aired originally?
Where?
So
it looks like a kids show.
No, so it's nothing like a kids show.
It looks a lot like a kids show.
It is meant.
I thought it was like Foster's Home for adopted. What's
imaginary friends?
Yeah, the global elitists. Yeah.
Yes. But like at the same time loves the students and cares for the students, but at the same time has plots to like use them in evil ways. So like they're all being raised to like be used as like puppets basically.
Okay.
But it's like weird because like they're figuring out that the government created them, and there's like a rival high school that's also clones, but they're not of celebrities.
So let me get this straight. Basically, Sky High minus the superpowers replaced with historical figures.
I mean,
yes or no?
Kind of. Like, Joan of Arc is an angsty emo chick.
Oh my lord.
Like, one of the center plot lines is there's a love triangle between Abraham Lincoln, Cleopatra, and Joan of Arc. Abraham Lincoln fucks on that show. Like, he gets around.
I mean, yeah, he freed the slaves. He deserves it.
And like JFK is like a meme character who just like says random things and is not taken serious. Like, he dates Cleopatra in like the early seasons before Abraham Lincoln does. And then like that's like there's an episode where it's like them complaining that they all still hang out together. And Abraham Lincoln's like, I don't like that you still hang out with your ex. And it's JFK. And he's just sitting there in the backseat of the car with them because he didn't have a ride. And he's just like, don't worry, guys. I have my Game Boy. And it's like him saying, like at one point he goes, I wish my life was like Mario and I had multiple lives. And then he just like lays down and cries.
So wait, is this like angsty teenager comedy?
Oh, it's like Family Guy. It's like stupid comedy. It's like, but it's also like, the problem is too, I think it could have been done much better, but the show writers were told by MTV that all historical references have to be the lowest possible denominator because they don't want to alienate any crowd from knowing historical references. But I feel like if you made some like weird niche references during it, it would be so much funnier. Like if you
really
had
funny.
like the big ones.
Like if they reference something, like if they brought in like Ronald Reagan and they referenced like transporting crack into inner cities.
Yeah. Like if Ronald Reagan was a drug dealer on the show, that'd be hilarious.
You gotta play around with that idea. Yeah. Even if the audience doesn't get it, like the few
Fully,
people that do,
yeah.
like audience can't, like maybe they don't get it, but it'll still work in the show.
Especially when you're rebooting it, I think in like a modern world with the fandoms that we have today, all you need is like a small devoted crowd to like your show for it to be
pretty much
like huge. Like it.
That's what you need for anything. Like with like you look at games that like make microtransactions, they make money off of like a few thousand people spending thousands of dollars like every day.
Yeah, but like also like I feel
like a cult of people that have money.
I feel like a lot of the pit traps of like today's TV is like trying to make it too general.
Lean in.
It's still picking me up. That's where I was sitting.
Just be careful. Listen, I've watched podcasts before. They tell you to lean in. They tell you to lean in.
Oh yeah, like I've seen a couple JREs. Oh, the light turned off again.
Nice.
I've watched a couple JREs where he's like, please lean into the mic, and they'll lean all the way back, and they'll be like, hello, and then they'll like get way too close too, like.
Yeah, or like people they'll get really nervous on his podcast. Like I was watching this one dude who just like kept clicking a pen like over and over, and he gave a monologue for like 5 or 6 minutes, and all he was doing. But like he would like lean in and just like. He's really jamming out with the pen, but it was so like, it's so awkward.
Yes, like what I'm saying though, like with like the general syndication, like when The Office, Parks and Rec, and all those shows were on TV, they had not the best ratings. They were always like on the verge of being canceled at many points. But now
really?
they found, yeah, like The Office, like almost every season was like on the verge of getting canceled.
But it's so, I mean, but they're making
Community.
So much money now.
Community was like every season it was in question if they were gonna come back for the next season. That's why it's a joke at the beginning of the show and they repeat the joke because not Justin Roiland, Dan Harmon is a writer on Community and a writer on he's a producer on Community and one of the producers and writers on Rick and Morty. And there's a joke in Rick and Morty where they're like, "Oh, we're gonna be 13 seasons, 13 like." And there's a joke in Community where the character who's like kind of meta, Op-Ed goes, "Oh, we're gonna be on for 8 seasons in a movie," and they went for 8 seasons, and then the show ended, and they're saying that they're trying to produce the movie, and like it's funny that like the multiple. They were so like strapped that they didn't know how long they were gonna continue. They kept putting like there's multiple times throughout it. They're like, oh, 8 seasons. It's gonna be 8 seasons.
I take your phone off the thing too, by the way. Just because the mic picks up a lot through the table.
And so like it's really, especially with Community. I know you haven't seen it, but like there's a lot.
I've seen some clips. I know Donald Glover's in it, and he's pretty funny.
Almost every character in the show had a cameo in one of the Marvel movies too, because the Russo brothers were the front writers for the show. So they throw them like almost every one of the main characters has a cameo. Like Op-Ed's one of the Shield workers. And
how do you know this? How do you know all this?
Because Community is a weird show where if you watch it multiple times, you pick up on more and more things. Like
how many times have you watched it?
I've watched it twice all the way through, but I've watched a lot of YouTube videos breaking down different episodes too. Like there's an episode called Advanced Dungeons and Dragons where they play Dungeons and Dragons, and they use like a side character that they call Fat Neil, and they explain that he gets bullied and that's why they call him Fat Neil, but they love him. And so like he's never in really any he's always in the background of episodes, but then he's in this episode and it's all focused around him, and that happens a couple times. Where they'll just bring like a random like character who's a background character and like focus on them, because it all takes place at a community high school, which is really interesting.
It's a high school
or community college, community high school.
They seemed way too old.
Oh yeah, they're all.
I mean, it's like they do that in movies and TV where it's like high schoolers, but they're like 25.
Nothing I hate more. Have you seen 13 Reasons Why?
I actually did watch about half the first season because somebody told me it was good, and I started watching it, and it wasn't like terrible, but it's just not my show.
I'm not a huge fan of the concept. I think well,
the whole show is glorifying suicide
in many ways.
It's idealizing it.
But they have high schoolers in the show, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm a freshman in high school, and like they'll walk into a party, and he's just covered like in neck tattoos, and I'm like, what high school
it's like
has
huge dude?
Yeah, like what high school has neck tattoos? Like freshmen in high school.
Not our high school.
I don't know what who you can't get a tattoo unless you get a parent's like consent as a freshman.
Yeah.
So like some parent I'm supposed to believe is like, yeah, it's trill if you get a
no parent would ever say that. If they did, they deserve death. I'm very much against adults using like teenager slang. Like it's one of my pet peeves.
I think if you use it ironically,
maybe don't Jake, listen. I guarantee Alex will listen to this podcast, or at least try it, and the first thing he's gonna say is, Jake, you shouldn't have given him the fidget spinner.
I honestly like they like faded out of popularity, but I love them. Like it's like the most relaxing thing to me, just to spin a fidget spinner.
But you're not even doing anything. Like you're just holding it in your hand.
No, yeah, but it's like
spin it once pretty hard. Wait like 2 minutes.
No, well, I stop it. I reverse it. Like oh, like it's just something to do.
This is where America is headed. What was I saying?
We're here.
We are here. We are here. In many bad ways, we're here. Yeah, adults need to get the boot. Honestly, I'm sick of them. They're ridiculous. They try and fit in with us. Those are the worst people that are like closet pedophiles, are like adults that like use kid slang and they're always trying to like hang out with kids. Or like everyone has that teacher that's like a little bit too weird and like a little bit too buddy with everyone. They say the wrong word. Like they say chens or something like 4 years ago and it wasn't a chens context.
Yeah, but like,
those are red flags to me.
I don't think they're red flags as much as just like trying to stay relevant.
Yeah, you're red flags because you're like 45 years old and you're trying this hard to stay relevant with kids that are like in high school.
I heard one of the saddest things recently. It was on the Tiny Meat Gang podcast, and it was about a Zoom class. And it's like fresh out of college teacher, like 24, like 25 age, and he's like he's opening up the class, and like one of the people in the textbook's name is Jeff, and he goes, "My name's Jeff," and but none of the kids got it. Like one of the kids goes, "What do you mean?" And like imagine that's not like an old reference. It's like it's old, but like for a high school, like
this happened recently.
Yes.
So yeah, when was that a big meme? That was like 2016, right?
Yeah. So like there's a part where you can see in the Zoom call where he's like the teacher looks broken, and it's like imagine feeling like you're old at like 26 for making a reference. Like you're not even making that.
That's what's coming for us, Jake.
I know.
This next decade is kind of gonna be ass because we're gonna start being old, and then everyone's just gonna move away and like get jobs.
Do you know what?
It sounds terrible.
Really. So I work, as you know, I work at a summer camp.
A YMCA.
YMCA summer camp, and all the little kids, like I'm in charge of the music, so they're always requesting music, and like I was playing Nirvana one day, and this kid comes up to me and he goes, "This is trash," and I was like,
"Excuse me?"
And he goes, "This is trash," and I go, "Do you listen to Uzi?" And he goes, "Yeah," and I go, "Do you listen to Denzel Curry?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "They loved Nirvana," and he goes,
"How old was this kid?"
Oh, he was like 7.
And he listens to Denzel Curry.
Oh, they all listen to like I've put a couple
like what
of
songs?
Just like the bases, like Clout Cobain, Taboo, like
dude, we are
Ultimate.
The next generation of young kids is when society ends.
At like 7 or 8, I was listening to like Soulja Boy. I was listening to Kanye, Jay-Z. Like
there's a difference between those rappers that we grew up on and the rappers that people are growing up on now. because like the rappers that are big today, a lot of them are just like, I do a lot of drugs and have a lot of sex, and that's it.
What do you think Mercy was by Kanye?
Oh, but those are different because it's like that's not Kanye's entire discography. Whereas for some of these people, not like Denzel Curry, but for Uzi, that is his entire discography.
And it's like,
and it's like so many big
and
artists.
they do listen to like more of like, I try to point them weirdly, like, I know I shouldn't be telling kids to listen to these different rappers that are like,
if they're gonna listen to rap, you gotta
exactly. I gotta
rap.
point them in the right direction. So like they'll come up to me and they'll be like, "Oh, can you play NLE and or Melly?" And I'm like, though I like MLE and I don't mind NLE Choppa, like I'm not a huge hater on either of them. I'm like, well, I'll be like, hey, have you heard J. Cole? And they'll be like, J. Cole is trash. And I'll be like, go back and listen to older Cole and come back to me, because I get where you're coming from a little bit as a kid, because like you're not gonna understand the concepts of KOD. You're not gonna understand like some of his more like,
that's fair,
poetic songs.
J. Cole definitely tries to have more like commentary in his music.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really appeal to like young kids that
like,
are looking for a snappy like.
Yeah, like I'm not expecting a kid to be like, oh, can you cue up Folding Clothes? Like that's just not like a song that you'll be listening to. But if you go back and listen to like anything really off 2014 Forest Hill Drive, like I feel like is catchy and like it's still a commentary, yes, but it's still that catchier sound before he started going a little bit more deep poetic.
Well, yeah, and even with that being said, like if you go to Born Sinner, like She Knows and Workout are just huge hits that any kid could listen to and they're just gonna enjoy it.
Like Workout is I every time I hear,
I don't know why we're standing J. Cole so hard. We're not like huge J. Cole guys, but
no, but like that's just an example. But whenever I listen to Workout by J. Cole, I always, whenever it comes on like on shuffle, I always pause it and then go and play New Workout Plan by Kanye. Because the way they go into each other, and there's two completely different songs.
Yeah.
But I just like how they go into each other, just the way the sample works on both of them.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, that Kanye's whole album, College Dropout, is just a masterpiece.
You know what I was thinking about recently? The idea that features are like kind of a new thing to music, like within the last like 20, 30 years to music. Like when you had like hair bands like Motley Crue and all them, and like more like, I wouldn't say Motley Crue's, it's probably classic rock at this point, but like rock bands like that, they don't have features. It's just the band. Like you don't have someone featuring. Whereas like even now you'll have like a rock band with a feature. Like features are a lot more prevalent
every
nowadays.
Now and then. But I think that's because when you were in that era of like you would have like a band, the band is the feature, because like you have all these different members and you get. It's not like today.
I guess you can say like guitar solo is a feature in a way. Like
yeah, you know what I mean. So, and nowadays, like, sure, rock bands are doing, like, features on other songs, but that's because they're not, like, the big... Like, back then, it was only rock bands, or, like, only, like, bands of people, pretty much.
Yeah.
But, like, even if you were just, like, a solo person, you would still have a band come out with you.
Yeah.
And, like, maybe they would show up to concerts, and, like, bands would do concerts together, but they didn't really make songs, because, like, why would you need...
You want an interesting fun fact about bands. You know the band Foster the People, Pumped Up Kicks? Yeah. The lead singer of that band actually plays every instrument in that band, and he paid actors to tour with him, but he's actually like he records all of those different instruments.
Really?
So it's all, when they play live, it's not live because it's actors, because he plays every one of the instruments.
That's kind of ass.
Yeah.
That's one thing I really hate is...
But it's really impressive on his half. Like the fact that he...
I mean, definitely.
Yeah.
But I hate how a lot of like rap concerts these days, instead of the rappers actually rapping, they have their song playing over like what they say. And half the time they're not doing anything. They'll just be like, they're like out of breath sitting down on the stage.
It's like if you go to like a Suicide Boys concert, the entire time they're jumping and like moshing on stage.
You go to Suicide Boys. I don't care if Suicide Boys are playing their music in the background. I want to hear them like wild out and just go crazy, jump into the crowd and whatever. But like a Travis Scott concert, actually, I've heard Travis Scott concerts kind of fire. But I think that's just because he brings.
I heard the energy he brings is just unheard of.
I think that's it. It's not really his. Well, I mean, I guess that is his performance, but it's not like I'm going there to hear Travis Scott auto-tune live.
Yeah, no, that's what I heard too. I heard it's nothing special vocally, but like the energy he brings to stage and the visuals he creates. Like when he came, my friend Dom went and saw him in Kanye in Toronto, and he came flying in on an eagle, I think to like sicko mode.
So like Freudian slam.
He
For
came
Travis
flying
Scott
in on his,
on his
ego. Travis Scott Fortnite meal. Check it out. I'm telling you, Fortnite concerts, I would go to a Fortnite concert that wasn't something that you would expect to be in Fortnite. Like, if you had an Adele Fortnite concert, I would go in a heartbeat.
Adele is definitely a PC enough for them to put in Fortnite.
No. I'm not saying PC enough. I'm saying just, like, what is the cross-section of Adele fans to Fortnite fans? Like, there's a cross-section between Travis Scott and Fortnite.
Oh, definitely.
So, but imagine, like, an Adele concert, or, like, something that, like, you wouldn't expect in Fortnite, but a Fortnite concert. It's the same concept.
Like, what if they did kind of like what Coachella did, but with Whitney Houston? So it's like a hologram of Whitney Houston in Fortnite. Oh my
god, a Tupac concert in Fortnite?
Tupac, Whitney Houston,
Biggie,
Lauryn Hill,
Avicii. I would go to an Avicii Fortnite concert.
Yeah, that'd be. I mean, I wouldn't, but I would watch a YouTube clip of it, maybe.
I would totally be down to go to, like, a Fortnite concert in VR. I don't know why. I just think that sounds, like, really weird and, like, out there. I like weird cross-sections of things. So, like...
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you go... when I do go to a concert, I want to go there because, like, I'm at the concert.
Yeah, like there's a difference. But I'm saying they don't have to be mutually exclusive. Like I don't think, like, you can say that, like, Fortnite concerts are destroying concert scenes because they're two different types of concerts.
Obviously not.
Like, you're never gonna have the same experience at a Fortnite concert or an online concert that you do at, let's say, a real concert. But, like, I think it should span even more platforms too. I think, like, most online things should be able to have celebrities have, like, events on there. I think that'd be like if you had, like, a Minecraft concert.
Oh no, that sounds like the progression of the destruction of society. Where in everything, you should really watch The Social Dilemma when you get a chance, because it just makes you, like, think about how much we're attached to everything.
Oh yeah, everything has to be interconnected. Everything has to be
addictive. So, like, if that, like, could you imagine that being the case? Like, in everything you do, like, every YouTuber you watch, there's some, like, certain celebrity that's on their ads exclusively. Like, imagine if Ryan Reynolds had the Mint, like, you know, his new...
Yeah.
Imagine if that was, like, individualized for, like, certain YouTubers you watch. And then they're beaming ads into your brain, Jake. They're beaming ads into your brain.
It's streamlined. So, like, there's, like, two... For me, there's, like... I get that it's bad, but there's, like... I'm also seeing what I want to see, which is bad, I guess, but, like...
Well, it's bad. It depends on what you're seeing. It depends on what you want to see, which for most people, you want to see things that are, like, quick, easy gratification. So it's like, oh, I watch a video of somebody playing Smash or someone playing, like, I don't know, Warzone. Yeah. And that's, like, 10, 15 minutes of my day that went to nothing. Like, a complete, like, I gained absolutely nothing out of that.
Yeah, but that I guess that's a newer concept, but, like that's what, like, Let's Plays were, like, in the early...
Yeah, and I mean, that's what you could say. That's what media is in general. So, like, TV, like, news station. Well, I mean, news has a little bit more value, but, like, watching, like, a TV show or, like, watching an anime, like, what does that actually do? But I don't know. I feel like that gives you a little bit more investment, and at least maybe not with Let's Plays as much, but, like, with TV shows and movies, those tend to have, like, messages or, like, something you connect with on, like, a deeper level, like a deeper critical level. But if you're just watching, like, a 15-minute Fortnite, like, a no-scope highlight reel, then that's...
Well, it still has a message.
But there's not really... Like, all right, yeah, what's the message?
The message is, like just showing off how, like, good people can be at this game. It's, like, it's showing... I think this is going to sound really fucking pretentious.
Oh, boy.
But I think it's showing, like, human ability. Like, the fact that someone's this good at this shows, like... It's, like, an impressive feat in a way.
Yeah, and I don't think it's necessarily bad to, like, watch those, but the message in and of itself isn't valuable to you at all in terms of your own personal life. Like, I don't think a lot of kids, well, some kids probably do, but I think the majority of kids that watch highlight clips aren't like, wow, that's insane. I want to, like, grind out Fortnite for the rest of my life so I can do things like that.
Well, at least for
it's
me,
more just like you just watch it because it's cool. Like,
same thing
with
impressive.
Football. It's like watching football.
Yeah, it's like watching any sport. Like I'm watching it because these people have a talent that I probably will never have. Like, there's no way I'm
I mean,
not
at this
good.
point, we're already 20. I was just thinking we're gonna be 21 in 6 months, pretty much. So our prime is past.
It's weird to feel
we're
old
going
as
down
a 21-year-old, if that makes sense. And I don't know if that's, like, a newfound idea, but, like, I feel old.
It definitely is, because 21 is pretty young.
Yeah, I should not feel old. I should not feel like really. You can do anything right now when you're 21. But there's like
I feel like it might be because of like technology. Like think about how much more information we have access to and how much more information we've taken in because we grew up with smartphones.
Yeah.
Like I had a smartphone. I don't know when did you first get your phone. I think I first got a phone in.
I got my
7th
iPod
or
when I
8th
turned
grade.
10, but my first phone I had was when I also think around when I was 10. Maybe I got my first phone when I was 10. My first iPod when I was 11.
Yeah, so we've had these for like pretty much a decade, and that means that we've been not necessarily, but we've had access to like world news and like social like changes and things that are going on that normal kids would never have access to.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like because of that, because we almost have like a societal overload, that we feel like older than we are. But we feel older than we are, but we are like more immature, if anything.
Well, there's that, and also you can think about feats that like you can like look into online. Like there's feats of like
like
older...
Free Solo, like the movie.
Well, that, and then
Which is
there's
a great
like
movie.
there's like UFC fighters who are like 40, and they're like, who is it? I think it's Le'Veon Bell or no, Frank Gore. Frank Gore's like 38. His son just got into college football and is playing D1 college football, and he's still a running back in the NFL.
That would be so sick if his son ended up on the same team as him in the NFL.
like that would be unheard of. And the way technology is going with like keeping players being able to play, like Mike Tyson's training to fight again. Like that
man is scary. Have you seen any clips of him talking on podcasts? He's gone on a few.
I've seen him like talk before. Like
he's a scary person. He keeps talking about how he gets erect whenever he like thinks about knocking somebody out.
I think that's just the mindset you have to be. I think the line between UFC fighter and going to prison is very thin.
I don't really know UFC fighters that well, so I can't.
It's more of like the mentality of fighting, like the mentality that you're gonna go into a ring and fight someone until they either tap because they're in so much pain, pass out, or get knocked out. Like you're knocking out another human being, and it's not even for like a bar fight.
It's not even like a personal reason that you have.
Like there's some grudges.
Sometimes they make some themselves, but.
It's different. It's not. It's for sport. But when it's for sport, like I guess you have to put yourself in that mindset, and you have to have a certain type of like.
Yeah, you have to go in thinking that you're going to win, and you're going to be so ruthless, so that you will 100% win.
And you have to go in thinking you're going to win, or you're going to get your ass kicked. Like there's no.
They just have like
you have to be cocky. You have to like come off as that. There's no being humble in a fight.
Yeah,
and I think
you can be humble after the fight if you lose. Nobody's humble after they win, really.
No.
I mean, why would you be? Like, oh my God.
Yeah, but you're also making more. There's a certain sense of acting too. Maybe not acting sometimes. Maybe it is personal, like how they think. But there's a certain level of acting. Like I think McGregor makes himself a villain. Like the same way.
Yeah, like the heel on purpose.
Yeah, like I'm the same way that like when WWE was huge, like there was fighters who would purposely be the villain, and like in the 80s, I went down a rabbit hole of this. In the 80s, after certain WWE fighters lost fights, they would like get death threats in the parking lot because like if they were a villain, people took it so seriously and thought it was so real, like not the fighting aspect but the acting aspect of it. That they would like want these people to like die. The suicide rate in WWE wrestlers is the highest of any sport, like astronomically high.
Really?
Because of both the brain damage. Because you're still like it's choreographed, yes, but you're still getting your head smashed against stuff. Like you're still.
Yeah, it might be choreographed, but it doesn't necessarily happen like in the safest way in the ring.
Exactly. Like there's still like problems with it. Like you see like. These people still getting their heads smashed sometimes, and it's like that's not fake all the time. They're still, but they know they're getting their head hit, but it doesn't make it any less more brain damage. Like
yeah, and I think I couldn't imagine being a pro wrestler, but I mean a lot of your life, and this is kind of like, so do you know like people that work minimum wage jobs at like Wegmans, where you have to be nice like on purpose, like you have to act on purpose for your job. I think that's the same idea. Like, you're miserable if you have to do that. If you're a wrestler and you have to act on purpose and you're not, like, a well-loved person or you're not super passionate about it, I can imagine you easily just becoming like severely depressed.
And you see UFC, or not UFC, WWE fighters stepping into acting too and having like insane careers, like John Cena and The Rock. Like they're just charismatic. Like they both were in shape and could do the things in wrestling, but they could also like they knew how to work a crowd. They knew how to invoke emotions, and that's a lot of acting. Like that's a lot of acting principles, a lot of improv, a lot of like just different ideas that they have to still work out. I would. Do you think WWE has like a writings room? Like
Oh, definitely. There's no question. Of course they do. Is that your goal in life, Jake? You want to get into the WWE writing room?
I want to go in there. I don't know if I want to write for them. You know I can't write. I'm illiterate.
It's because of the fidget spinner, Jake.
This is stopping me from learning the English language.
It is holding you back single-handedly. Sometimes dual-handedly.
And yeah, duolingually too, because it's holding me back from English and Spanish.
Languages are tough. I just think you need to read more books.
I do read.
Well,
I used to read a lot, and then I started audiobooking, and like I think that's also like slightly.
I wonder what the study. You want look up to see if there's any difference between like learning from audiobooks or just reading.
The problem is when I read,
there probably is. I don't know. I feel like if anything, audiobooks might be a little bit better because think about like how you learn most information. It's like.
Oh, I retain
like
a lot from when
listening to professors' lectures and then writing it down, and then because it's written down and you're like remembering them saying it. That's how you remember it. Or I don't know. That's how it works for me.
There's no significant difference in comprehension between reading and listening, or reading and listening simultaneously.
Really?
I mean, I definitely retain a lot from when I listen to an audiobook. And I just prefer it because like when I read, I get like 3 pages in and I fall asleep. Like I just can't sit there for that long and read. But if I'm like doing other stuff, then I can finish a book.
That's what I do at work. I just put on a podcast with like a really intelligent person, and then I do like mindless tasks I can do like on autopilot because I've done them so many times. Yeah. So I don't have to. I'm not like focusing on that, but like I'll be cleaning dishes while somebody's making this like vast point about global society changing.
Yeah, and I'm doing the same thing right now with Animal Crossing.
I can't get into that game.
Oh my god, it's so relaxing. It's just like
it looks like it is a relaxing game. I'm just grabbing a drink real quick.
Am I gonna solo this?
Yes, yeah, just hold it down.
Welcome to Jake's Corner on Animal Crossing. So Jake's Corner, Animal Crossing, kind of wild. I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't seem like it's a like it would be. It seems quite boring, but like it's relaxing and it gives you like a false sense of achievement when you pay off your loans in the game. Like a sense of achievement that I don't feel like I have with my current college debt.
You actually have to pay off loans in the game?
Yeah, like right now I'm like 40,000 bells in debt because I just bought a house. But I'm kind of balling out of control. I'm waiting for I have a museum being built right now, and I'm big for donating to the museum because I like to watch all the fishes and like have all. I'm gonna be a completionist with this game. I want all the fishes. I want all of the fossils. I'm building dinosaurs. They also give you fun animal facts, which I love. There's also a ton of puns, which is great.
Oh my god.
You care for your community. It's like a better world. It's like Second Life, but better and less depressing because it's animals and everything is.
But it's just it's conditioning for children for the adult world. Like they're okay.
There's a lot less capitalism. Like Tom Nook in prior games is like much more of like aggressive with like the loads and stuff. And this one, he's like, oh, don't worry, pay it back whenever. Like, oh, I have like financing plans.
That's interesting. I was gonna make the point that Nintendo, that like Japan is controlling our society. I love going to society. Like societal changes are the best.
Societal changes are scary. Like
that's why it's the best. But I was gonna say like Japan is doing this to precondition our children and like children across the world to have like in their mind, oh, all I want to do is pay off my loans, or like so in some way doing a societal benefit. But now if they don't make you like pressure you to pay off loans, they're encouraging tax evasion.
No. Like it's not like I'm not paying out my loans, but it's not like whenever I go to talk to Tom Nook, he's like, oh, you still have debt. He's like, oh, you still have debt. Don't worry about it. You'll be able to pay it off.
So there's no interest on the loans.
There's no interest on the loans.
They're not even using the right models. What is this game doing? What? setting our children up for failure.
Maybe it's using future models.
This is a valuable opportunity to prepare children for the economic fears of the future, which we never get taught in school.
What do you think the crossover between children playing Animal Crossing and adults playing it? I feel more adults play Animal Crossing than children.
Maybe.
As a kid, I would not want to play Animal Crossing.
I thought it was, but it's like a children's game.
It's
look it up. Look up the demographics for Animal Crossing.
Yeah, like.
I'm taking this from you.
Why?
You're having too much fun. I need some.
Demographics for.
I feel like it's gonna be a surprising amount of adults, but mostly children. One of my professors was talking about playing Animal Crossing with his kid on the Switch, which I thought was funny. Also, one of my professors, I don't know if you know any people like this, but like people that get really excited about getting like a new animal. So they're like, oh yeah, I'm a cat mom now. It's like, no, you're a disappointment.
Oh! I thought you meant like in the game, like getting a new animal moving to the island.
No, I mean like in real
hype.
life.
Like what? That is hype. Like
it's cool if you get an animal, but like if a big part of getting the animal is you saying that you're a cat mom or like a dog mom now or snake mom, there's something wrong.
I've always wanted a snake.
I actually love snakes. I'd be down to get a snake, but I'm not gonna call myself a snake mom when I get an anaconda. That's not happening.
I'm taking this Survey Monkey quiz, but I'm hoping it gives me the.
Why are you taking a? Oh my lord! How long are we in, and you've already resorted to BuzzFeed quizzes about?
No. I'm hoping
drink you'd like to buy.
I'm just saying that, like, it might.
Oh, you're a butterbeer type of person. Wow, so unique.
Butterbeer's gas. I don't know if you've had the butterbeer down in Universal.
Think about. I've just been in a social programming mood after watching The Social Dilemma. Just imagine, Jake. Imagine where you're going to be in 10 years when all you've been doing is taking BuzzFeed quizzes and playing Animal Crossing.
I don't. That's not all I do. It's just
you are disgusting, Jake.
How long have you? Less than a year. Done. All right. Let's see if it gives me like the read the report. Yes.
What website is this?
Survey Monkey.
No, but like, what did you look up?
Demographics for. It's not letting me look at results. I need to. It's making me sign up.
You want to do like some Jeopardy music? Can you put that in? Should I grab my phone? What?
Play Despacito.
I'm not playing. I'll play Despacito.
Oh, here's a Reddit.
I'll play Griffin's homemade lo-fi. His newest lo-fi hip-hop beat that he stole from the lo-fi hip-hop girl.
The lo-fi hip-hop.
I guarantee you when Griffin fails at writing, he's just gonna start producing lo-fi beats and then live in like an alleyway in Baltimore.
56% of Animal Crossing players are female.
How does that make you feel, Jake?
This is for new.
You are a minority.
This is in 2013. This is old. Do
you think the demographic would change that radically, though? I feel like it's pretty much the same. No, you know what? I'm in darkness. I'm leaving it.
Darkness.
We need to accept it. Next time you come, bring a table and a light.
A table and a light. Oh, 75% of Pocket Camp users are women.
What's Pocket Camp?
I don't know. I can't find
Is that
like
the new Candy Crush?
I used to play a lot of Candy Crush.
So did moms. A lot of barred out moms, like housewives refusing to watch their children. All they do is take Xanax and play Animal Crossing and Candy Crush. They fall asleep on their toilet, wake up at like 6 a.m.
Most players
are already at school.
Wait, I think I got
their
it.
Their families moved out because they've rejected their sense of community.
I'm not even listening to you.
I'm just throwing things out there.
I think there's probably an image of a game where you can live leisurely with cute animals. What? In a game for young girls.
Just give me. I just wanted the numbers. I figured you look it up and it'd be like straight numbers. Like
no, there is not.
25% Latino.
However, looking at gender and age data of Animal Crossing users, it is a clear ratio of males and females is half, so it's 50-50, and and most of the users are in their 20s and 30s. So it's not a lot of kids. I'm telling you, not a lot of kids play Animal Crossing.
So why did they make it so childish?
Because it's nostalgia. Like I think when it first came out, more kids played it, but like now it's just like it's nostalgia, and it's like I don't know if Animal Crossing was hyper realistic, it would completely lose the fun of it. Like it would no longer be like a fun jovial game where like I'm going off, I'm fishing, I'm
See, you say that. Recently, I found this game, Hobo Simulator. You're a hobo in some like shitty city in Ukraine, and it looks amazing. All you do is just run around, ask people for money, like open up trash bins, see if you can find like a half-drank box wine, and then that's your meal for the night. That's the type of game I want to play. I don't want to play Animal Crossing. I want the real streets of Ukraine.
No, I want
to suffer in the game. Okay. We need suffering in every aspect of our life.
It sold Animal Crossing New Leaf sold 13.41 million units in the first 6 weeks of it being out. It's already outsold both of the other Animal Crossings in their lifetime sales.
I don't know why. I don't get it.
It's relaxed. I think since we live in such like a hectic, it's the second highest Switch game.
I don't know. Smash. I feel like if
Smash
I was,
is 6.
If I wanted to play a relaxing game that by myself, I would probably play like Sid Meier's Civ 5. Like that's relaxing to me.
That's stressful. I hate like Civ gives me anxiety. Like I'm constantly like racing against like the clock to have everything ready, and like people are. And I don't want to anger anyone, but I seem to always anger all of the leaders because like. I also hold grudges.
I only ever play Civ on like domination mode, so you have to kill everybody. So I'm always like, I always want to be at war. I don't know. Does that say something about me deep down? Maybe.
Maybe you should go into UFC fighting.
Yeah, I think my Civ 5 skills translate well to the UFC realm of existence.
Oh well, software sales it's the highest, but Nintendo Switch top 10 selling games, Ultimate's ahead.
I'm not surprised. Still a fantastic game, even though there's pedophiles in the community.
Ultimate is a great game. It's pretty balanced, and it's
gonna be a game that's gonna be played for a while because they're not gonna have a game that has this many characters in it.
Oh, I don't think they're gonna make another one. Period. I think they'll just continue updating this one and putting new characters in.
They could do that. That's an interesting idea.
New maps, new characters. It's just
which I would be fine with because I don't,
Yeah,
you don't always need. I mean, that's like a larger societal thing where everything has a planned obsolescence. It's like you always, like, who was I listening to? Somebody I was listening to recently said like, "Are you really excited about getting like the next generation of phone?" It's like not really. Like, what's the Google Pixel 4 gonna have that I don't have that I need on my Pixel 2? Yeah, so it's like the same thing. It's like they don't really need to release another game because they're like they could just make this game be boring and then make another game that's not that much different, but it's new.
Yeah, but I think in the newer market too, like you're gonna make more money in the long run just releasing DLCs than you are gonna be making a whole new game because you have to spend money on coding an entire new game when you can already use what you have in front of you and just continue to update it. You don't really have to make many changes because other than adding maps, adding fighters, and then I also think another like Melee, which has been out for 30 years now, 20 years now.
I think it came out in
I think it's 99.
No, I thought it was 2001, but I could be wrong. It might be 99.
I'm just gonna look it up. But that still has a huge fan base, and people are still optimizing. Like I was watching tier list, Leffen's tier list, and he's like Mewtwo can still be optimized in many ways, and it's weird to see because I've been watching a couple tier lists, and a lot of people's secondaries like a Hungry Box with Ness and like Leffen with Mewtwo, they always put them higher on the tier list than other people because they know the character and they know there's ways to optimize it that they just haven't found yet. Like they haven't worked out fully the kinks, but they could definitely be used at a higher play than they're currently being played at. And like that's I find very interesting because we've barely scratched the surface. I feel like of optimizing Ultimate. Like I feel like there's so much more. Like Shulk, I feel like if you can get Shulk completely optimized would be insanely good, but it's hard to figure out exactly what you're doing every time because it's or even like Pac-Man or Game & Watch, all those characters.
Gotta say, I don't want Pac-Man optimized at all. I would be glad if people were just shitty at Pac-Man.
2001, you were right.
Let's go.
But like it will continue to be optimized. People will continue to find ways to make characters better and fight to the top. Will it continue to be popular among the general public? Probably, because the people playing
Smash is just it's one of those games that everybody plays or everyone's heard of.
And
it's like Call of Duty.
It's like for casual play, it's such a low barrier to entry. Like it's
Yeah, like most like casual play, all you need to do is just press B, and then people will
press
happy.
B and then search and pick up items. Like
Because
all you really need at casual.
A lot of casual people play with.
Now
items.
taking that step up from casual to playing competitively there's a big leap, but if you're willing to make that leap, then you're going to be hooked into the game anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I'm fine with Ultimate staying the way it is, but I don't know. I feel like I'd like a new game as well. Like that's the thing. We've grown up always expecting like a new and like better thing.
Oh yeah, like a new COD.
I feel like
console,
I mean it's not like exclusive to us, but maybe exclusive to us at the rate that it's happening.
Because, like how fast a game can just fall off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, see, what was like
Anthem, that game just went down the drain within a month. Or
Apex,
so.
Like
it was like
it was many people still
it was like a few months after Anthem came out that all of the developers were like, "Yep, we're not going to update the game anymore because it's not worth our time."
Like I don't know. I heard Anthem had other problems too. It's just like the updates they did have were just boring. Like nothing really like I think you need to have some change and like some innovation to how you play. Like Min Min was a completely different style fighter, even though like she's not great.
Pretty unpopular character though.
But still,
like, surprisingly,
it's a risk and it's a change. Like might as well try it out. I think you need to have I think you need to release characters, and if they flop, they flop. But if you give them a shot, it's a completely different story. Like.
Yeah, but the one thing I did want to say about this was I don't think Nintendo will do that because of the nightmare of managing that many different titles in one game. Like recently they released an update where they made all music from all like character series available on Final Destination, and that update took a while to come out because they had to ask like for permission from all of the companies involved. So if having that being their perpetual way to get money through the game, by having like that game open and always having to consult like different companies and then different companies asking for money, like that's why they said they're never going to make another game that has that many different characters in it, because they had to pay a ton of money to get titles to.
Yeah, but now they have the titles.
They don't have the titles. They have license. Well, I don't know like the economic side of it, but pretty much the people that own the titles allowed them to use the title characters in their game. But I don't think that's something that's tenable for the long term.
You don't think, but like they can't take them out of the game.
But they can, but like in terms of money, because the people that have, like, I assume if you have, I don't know, some like if Pac-Man is in this game, then the people that own Namco, Pac-Man, Namco, they get money from Nintendo like all the time because of that. Probably not a ton of money, but they definitely worked out some deal where because they released Pac-Man on this game, they make profits based off of this game.
Yeah, but as the game continues, do they like? They're not going to be able to say like, this game's like we're going to take Pac-Man out of the game. Do you think, or?
No, there's no way they could. I don't think they could ever take Pac-Man out, but I think they might avoid doing anything with the game that involves more companies getting. Oh, because then they're going to
have to give another once they release an update, a part of that every time.
Yeah, because if you think about it, they release another game, and this is a problem they have with any game because that's how the game is made, is having different characters. But like if they release another game and they have, instead of like 70 characters, they have like 40, then that's like potentially 30 other companies they don't have to pay money for.
Yeah, but in the public's eye, they're gonna not want that. Ultimate will be superior then.
It depends. Depends on who they put in. But yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just thinking in terms of their like corporate side, they might be less inclined to do that.
There's always so many angles to like things like this, like between like fiscal and like what the people want and what's best for the company. It's always so interesting to like break down those dynamics, because like I wonder like, without all of those restraints, how it would look different. Like what characters would be in Smash without like them having to worry about that?
Oh, you mean like what characters probably got denied?
Yeah, or like what ideas that they had that like seemed like great ideas on paper that they could never work out because so and so said they couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how Nintendo runs their that side of the business.
And it's also ad-free.
'Cause they live. I mean, it's Japan too, so they just do things differently.
Yeah, I've been reading up on like Japanese business ideas. They had a whole scandal with the Olympics. It's
Really?
Well, so this is supposed to be the recovery Olympics, and it's the recovering from the tsunami, nuclear,
Fukushima
nuclear explosion, earthquake, triple disaster, and they're like the PR company. They spent like multi-millions or billions of dollars on like the PR for it. And like they're like, oh, planting trees at Fukushima to like see it's not a radioactive zone anymore, and it's like kids planting trees, but it's just not at Fukushima because they still can't go there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not a good look to have kids be at Fukushima.
Yeah,
it's not safe.
Like they're not even there, and it's like it's kind of like a cover up. And like I get wanting to be like, oh, we are resilient, we're gonna keep fighting, but that money could also be going towards fixing those issues of radioactivity that are still...
I mean, even if you can, I don't know if you can really fix them by just throwing money at it. Didn't they build a dome over Chernobyl recently?
I did not read that, but possible.
Look that up. Let's see if that's... I'm pretty sure that's happening. They're working on... If they haven't, then they're working on building a dome over all of Chernobyl. Because they don't know how to fix it at all. Although they did make... There was recent advancement
new metal dome encasing destroyed reactors and the infamous Chernobyl...
Oh yeah, so it's not all of Chernobyl, but it's the reactors.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was I saying? They don't know how to deal with nuclear waste to that degree when it's like an accident. But I was reading something. See if you can find it. It's like nuclear reclamation. So the waste products of creating nuclear energy. They found a way to efficiently decrease the amount of waste and get more energy out of what's there. Which is,
what is
like,
nuclear reclamation?
Potentially a huge breakthrough, because that's what's holding people back from, throwing in for nuclear energy.
I just say we should send it into space.
Great idea if we had a way to do that safely.
Also, no idea what the drawbacks would be to sending nuclear waste into space.
I think we have the capability to plan out a certain route for it to go, and it's not gonna hang around. There's not gonna be any negative outcome, but it's just getting it off the ground without it exploding.
What is half this in space? What about like being in a vacuum? Does that affect half-lives and like stuff like
being in a No.
No, wouldn't it affect the decay and...
No, because think about all planets and stars. They're all in a vacuum. Well, I mean, ours it's different because we have an atmosphere, but those half-lives aren't different. I could be talking about my ass. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure this is some high-level nuclear
I'm pretty sure that half-life doesn't change regardless of...
I'm no nuclear scientist, but...
You don't. If only. I wish I knew a nuclear scientist. I feel like that would be they would be able to build something. A nuclear engineer.
If there's a nuclear scientist listening to this podcast right now,
drop your kick in chat.
Yeah. Drop your yik yak in chat, and I'll reach out to you.
Drop your ask.com handle in chat.
It's ask.fm.
Ask.fm. I never used it. I just heard. I read some article about how Ask.fm was increasing
horrible.
suicide rates.
Horrible, because people would just be like So you can anonymously ask people questions. So people would.
That's just Yahoo Answers. How is that any different?
But you can target people. You're not asking to the public. You're asking, and it goes up on their page.
So you make an account. My name is Sally Hendricks.
Yeah.
And someone's asking me why are you so fat?
Or why why did you sleep? They'll openly target people to why did you sleep with so and so, and that'd be private information.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
No, that sounds horrible.
Great. No, that's the Wild West we need.
No, there's no accountability for what you post.
That's what I want.
No, that's horrible. That's the de-evolution of society is no accountability.
How is that any different from Twitter though?
Because Twitter, most of the time, you have something linked to it. If you're
most of the time.
Unless you're working under a false name.
Some celebrity says something, and then people respond in the comments, and a lot of the people that do that have. Maybe there's an occasional verified blue check here or there. Those are still questionable in my opinion. But a lot of people, you're anonymous on Twitter. Less so on Facebook, I would guess. I'm not on Facebook, but less so because your name is attached to it, and you're like, oh, this is my family.
Your name you have to put in
You have to put in a name. But I'm saying that Facebook is more oriented towards you putting your real name there. It's more directed towards you putting your name there and then you connecting with people, whereas Twitter is just yelling at people.
I mean, I think there's still like problems with that on Twitter, but I think Ask FM, since it is completely anonymous, is.
Well, how's that any different from Twitter? From like some person, random handle, random name. It's the same thing.
I mean,
are you saying Ask FM didn't even let you see who was asking the question?
Yes, you didn't see who was asking. It was just.
I'd still say that's somewhat similar.
I mean, I guess it is, but
it's different. It's different because Twitter, you can see like who said this comment and click on their profile, but you still are fairly anonymous.
Well, also with
in the eyes of like other people.
With Twitter, its main directive is not that, whereas Ask FM main directive was anonymous questioning. So like it was encouraging that, where Twitter, like, it happens, but it's not encouraging that happens. Like, for Twitter, you're properly supposed to have an account that's linked to you. Like, you're not supposed to do that, but
like that's their idea.
But it's gonna get corrupted because anything that has an ability to be corrupted will be corrupted on the internet. Like, that's just how the internet works. Like, any vulnerability on the internet is just open season.
True.
Like there's no way you can.
That's kind of what I love about the internet, though.
There's like goods in that. Like there's plenty of like fun shit that comes. I hate when like there are fun ideas like that just get like then taken into like a whole different realm.
Okay, let me clarify what I meant. When I said that's what I like, it's because I personally, this sounds terrible. I think bullying is hilarious online. I think that type of comedy, at least not like bullying in the sense of like
there's bullying and then there's like harassment. I think.
Okay, yeah, we could go with that. We can go with that. I'm not down for harassment. I don't want to see somebody I don't want to see Sky Williams dock some 12-year-old kid because he said the N-word playing Fortnite.
Yeah,
that's not what I'm going. Or I'm not trying to like have like if like set my followers on somebody because they have this political leaning.
Yeah.
But bullying in the sense of like comedian bullying.
Yeah, like if you're on
comedian roasting is the better way to put it. I love roasting. Roasting is
on, like,
one of the funniest things ever.
Black Ops or like CS:GO and you're playing and like
shit talk is
you're just like
part
you're
of the
trash.
Game.
Like get off. Like that's like I would not consider that like cyberbullying per se. That's like just like what you get in that crowd.
Yeah,
like,
it depends on
part of the game.
It depends on your perspective going into what you're doing. So if you go into Twitter and somebody says a mean comment to you about like you being fat, your perspective could be like they're roasting me, or it could be I'm being harassed on Twitter. And both of them are pretty valid, in my opinion.
Yeah, but like a difference though too for like a CS:GO situation too is like if you're saying hey fat ass, like get off the game. In CS:GO you really can't tell if the person's fat, so it's
true.
Not as like
it's
aggressive.
Like you know the
it's
person
not like
knows nothing about you. Whereas if you get a reply in your comments from somebody that says like you're fat and you're like a mildly popular celebrity, and there was like a recent article about you being fat, or like. We don't have to go into it that deep.
Yeah, but like
there's more like of a relationship, even though somebody's being
I think
mean.
I think a frequency comes in too, like how often you're saying it. Like if you're just like, haha, you're fat. Like okay, you can brush it off. But if like you're getting comments targeted every day saying you're fat, that's a different story.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is I'm saying like I don't enjoy people being targeted and roasted because that's harassment at that point.
Yeah.
I enjoy, and that's another. I think that's the big problem. If you can just roast somebody, and it's not targeting, that's great. Everyone loves that. But nowadays, most people feel like they're getting targeted when like one comedian says a comment to them, or like do you know Tim Dillon?
Yes.
You know how he makes videos like he made
Bomb Disney.
Yeah, Bomb Disney World, or like he'll make a video like making fun of someone. Like he did one where he was Anthony Fauci's son. And he was just in the shower, and he just kept saying, "Forget about it." Like that, you could see that as like just roasting because that's what it is.
He's also a comedian.
He's a comedian. He's not targeting you in the sense of like he's not like going back to you over and over again saying the same things, like putting you down. It's just a one-off thing. If there was more, people recognize more like one-off jokes and one-off roasts.
And I also think
that would be much better.
I also think there's like a weird difference between like the average person and like a comic. Like a comic, like if Dave Chappelle or someone came out and said something like kind of targeting someone, he's a comedian. That like he's a well-known comedian. Everyone knows that's what he's trying to do. But when everyone's trying to do comedy. And some of them take the line too far because they don't understand how comedy works. Like I think when we were just talking about like like iDubbbz does these like long video kind of essays on like different
like a documentary on
like he did one on the bigger kid who did who does like lightsaber battles.
Yeah, Airsoft Fatty.
Yeah, Airsoft Fatty. And like there's jokes in it, and he like openly makes fun of him a couple times.
Yeah, he does that for all of the ones he does.
He's doing it because he's making a documentary about it. He's not like he's saying good things about the person too. Like this is not just like fatty loser.
It's like, oh, here's this fat loser kid that all he does is smoke weed and play with lightsabers.
Yeah, like he'll be like, hey, you're a fat loser. But then he's also making this video like saying that like he lives a good life and he's happy. And like
yeah,
good
there's
for
a
him.
different there's more than one perspective on it. It's not just like roasting.
Like where like remember when like Leafy was huge? Like Leafy was just making fun of people.
Oh, Leafy gives me a headache. I've never been a fan of him. So his form of like roasting, I wouldn't even call it roasting because it is targeted harassment.
Yeah.
Where he makes a 15-minute video or like 10-15-minute video and it's all about this one person. Or like what he did with Pokemon where it was multiple of those. He just keeps going after that person over and over and over again. That's not like entertaining. There's something wrong with you.
Yeah, like that's not like at that point that is harassment. That is bullying in my opinion. That's like being
that's bullying with a capital B.
Yeah,
we'll put it that way.
Oh yeah, I feel like that's a good nuance that I feel like needs to be brought into the public is bullying with a capital B and bullying with a lowercase b.
Yeah, we need more bullying with a lowercase b.
Yeah, we need
but less with capital B.
Like I like
that's my campaign slogan for 2024.
Yeah, like you gotta like there's still some fun. Making fun of like your friends and making fun of yourself and like that's still like
there's value in that, and there's value in people making fun of you.
Yeah,
and learning how to like deal with that and be okay with yourself.
And there's also times where like, I'm gonna be honest, I've been like bullied for things, and I'm like, you know what, it's kind of well deserved. Like I'm like. I was being kind of cringy, and I've like made peace with that, and like I've changed myself like, because of that. But it's not like it. But then there's a difference between like again bullying with a capital B, where it's just like every day like no backing statements.
Yeah, so that bullying with capital B more comes from people that their entire lives are dedicated to putting other people down because they don't have any sustenance in their life.
Yeah.
So what they get out of, like I was reading some psychological. When we do another podcast, I'm gonna come and like actually know where I found these.
You're gonna get the receipts.
But yeah, pretty much what it was saying was that people that like actually bully others, they don't get any enjoyment out of it, out of like the act. They get enjoyment out of like the end goal, which is somebody else feels lower than you do. So they have to bully you down to below their level, and then they're just content because they can say, hey, look, I'm doing better than this other person.
And then also you can have the fact of like when there's someone bullying in that way publicly, there's people who are gonna laugh, but they don't realize like there's bullying where like you're with a group of friends and you're like or there's even bullying like slightly in public jokingly, but then there's bullying like where it's in public, people are laughing because they think it's a joke, but it happens so often that it's not. Like it's just it's hard to see and understand like the relationships. Mm-hmm. And I think like you can't make a split decision off that. You can't like make it off one comment like if this is horrible or this is like jovial.
Yeah, and that's another problem inherently with how social media is set up is that people can just do like one-off like jokes on you, but when that's people doing that to you for a year and it's not all on the same day, it's like scattered amount around your year, then I can understand how that builds up and then like causes you to have a negative like self or like a low self-esteem, or you don't look at yourself well. Even though I do like I am entertained by that, I do kind of feel bad for people like who was it Pokemon the recent we were just talking about Pokemon where she stopped streaming. Yeah, there's a lot of streamers that just needed to, or like YouTubers or social media personalities that just like often take a break because they can't deal with everybody doing that all at once. It's not healthy.
I also think it's important though for people like that to take a break, because in the context of bullying with a lowercase b, I think you need to know where the line is. I think like it's important to like learn where the line is, and it's different for every person.
Yeah, you need to make the line clear for your audience.
Yeah, it's an important lesson to learn that there's a line and that you don't cross it. And like taking a break sure will entice some of the more of the assholes, But I feel like more of like the jovial, like oh, I was making this joke and now I realized that I was kind of being an ass. We'll step away from it. Like
somebody that made like a funny Twitter reply.
Yeah.
Or like I was looking through this so this Brazilian CS:GO team, their team's falling apart, and some like one of the pros was saying something, and then in like his first reply was somebody that just posted a screenshot of his like past 20 games and his KD, and it was all negative. I was like, that's hilarious, and I would totally do that. But then like you look at people like that, and it's not just CS:GO pros, but then like later on they'll say like, wow, I'm really having a tough time, my mental health is terrible. Then if you're the person doing like making that reply, I feel like most people in that mindset would be able to recognize like you're doing something that's actually harming someone, and you shouldn't do it as much as you do.
I also think there's a factor of being in the spotlight. There's an equivalent exchange to being like making yourself public to that. Like you have to accept that if you're gonna be good at something and publicized for being good at something, there's gonna be people who are gonna try and tear you down. Like that's just something you need to accept.
Yeah.
There's gonna be people who want to personally harm you, or not even harm you, but like there's gonna be people who are gonna attack you, and it's gonna be hard to distinguish between the two. But it's a fact of being popular and being like in the mainstream, I guess. Like you're gonna be attacked.
If you ever have, and that's another weird like evolutionary thing, is that we are built to like want to connect with people, and like we are very much a slave to the perspectives of others. And when somebody has a social media following of millions of people, or even hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, regardless, that much input on your decisions and actions and opinions is so unheard of in the past, like all of human history except for the past decade maybe. So it makes sense that people don't know how to handle it, and they should take a break, because your life shouldn't entirely be online, just hearing what millions of people are saying about what you should do here, there, blah blah blah. So I don't know. It's a weird situation to have the internet still be free enough that you can do what you want, but not at the same time destroying people's like emotional and mental states across the country.
And it's also interesting because like it's hard to wrap your mind around like many of these huge like YouTubers or other like entities, not entities but people. They're like PewDiePie is over 100 million subscribers. It's hard to wrap your mind around 100 million people. Like like you look at something and you're like, oh, this only has like 10K likes, and you're like, oh, that's low. But when you think about it, that's 10,000 people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, if you saw 10,000 people in like one auditorium, it would be shoulder to shoulder, like super tight.
And like it's hard to wrap your mind around, because like you see things with like,
or like you look at like a baseball stadium or like a football stadium. Like what's like the average size of a baseball stadium? Because I remember this kind of a funny childhood story. My dad always used to take me to the Red Wings game.
Yeah.
And we went to a game, and I don't know why he brought it up, but he was talking about like Nazi Germany and Hitler. And he was like, look at all the people in the stands, and imagine like gassing all these people and then bringing in the same amount of people and doing it over and over and over and over again.
Not comprehensible.
You can't like you can't imagine like six. I don't know why we're talking about. I guess I just interjected Hitler into this podcast, but that's kind of what I'm saying. Like it's hard to see it until you actually see it.
42,675 is the average seating capacity. So like
for what?
A baseball stadium.
Yeah. So imagine even a quarter of that.
And that's MLB. That's not including like minor leagues.
Yeah. So minor leagues would probably be
lower.
10, depending on the stadium.
So like if I like go to YouTube right now and I just like, let's see. Here, this video right here, Crab Rave Medieval Style, 1.1 million views. Like that's insane. But like,
yeah, I don't think I'll ever see 1 million people in person in one place in my entire life. I think that will never happen.
Yeah, like that's unheard. Like you think of like.
That's never gonna happen for most people.
Like
in the world.
Mid-level YouTubers, like let's like just find like a.
Like think about going to any convention or like sports game, or like going to like a big casino or something. I don't know. Like what? I don't even know where people go to populate in large places anymore. Does that happen?
It doesn't because of COVID. I love looking back at like pre-COVID videos.
Yeah, like I was watching the Split Whole Time music video with Lil Yachty, and when it goes to the second part, they're all in like a sky zone or something. I was like, wow, must be nice.
Yeah, like
glad they got that fun time.
You just look and you're like, man, imagine like, I can't even imagine. It's weird because it's like it's hard for me to imagine now like just a large crowd without having like even going to the store. It's weird. It's like I feel like I've been like. I think gaslighting, is that the term where it's like pumped into like to being the new normal? Like,
yeah. Well, gaslighting would be like encouraging something or like promoting something.
Yeah, but like gaslighting into being like aware of COVID has been like insane. Like there's already like sketch comedy shows on I forget what channel it is.
If there's sketch comedy about COVID, I'm out.
It is. It's about like
the
Zoom relations of friends, and like I'm like. This is what
there's
commercials with people like with masks on already. It's like almost like saying like it's never been not this.
Listen. Commercials are supposed to be everything that I hope and dream for in my life that I have failed to achieve over a series of decades, but put into like a short like 30-second segment that I can appreciate when I'm home, like from my 9-to-5 job that I hate. Commercials need to be the best of society. I don't want to see people with masks on in commercials. I want to see like Hugh Hefner, Private Island, water slide, you know, like, oh, just drink more Modelo. And he's drinking a Modelo. He's got like 15 models. Dan Bilzerian's coming in on his private jet.
Dan Bilzerian.
I don't want to see I don't want to see everyone like homeless people with masks on in an alleyway getting stabbed because of the opioid epidemic because they didn't get their heroin needle. I need something pleasant. I need something idealistic. Put Family Feud on. Where's Family Feud during COVID?
So here's a back to the YouTube thing. On Captain Sparkle's second channel, episode 36 of Sky Factory 4 has 34,000 views. Like 34,000 people have watched this video. It's an hour and a half.
That's crazy.
Like that, it's insane how
that's kind of what I mean. Like earlier, what I was saying, like you like there's no, and this isn't gonna like I do this, and I'm not gonna stop. And that's for most people. But there's no value in watching an hour and a half long playthrough of somebody playing Minecraft. Like, sure, you get entertainment out of, like, watching somebody else, like, play a game because you like their personality. But there's no, like, beneficial message or value to you at all.
I mean, it does give you, like, the, like, serotonin dopamine release that, like, you get to, like, just relax and watch someone play a relaxing game, and like it's like you're there with them. Like it's weird because like I grew up watching like Minecraft. I grew up watching YouTubers, and I feel a personal connection to these people that I've never met. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like when
that's the scary part. Who was it? Tim. So our friend Tim was telling me about there was this one streamer who every single morning somebody messaged him on Twitter and said like, "Good morning, like toast." I don't know what the guy's name was, and the dude replied, and he was like, You need medical attention. It is not normal for you to reply to me every single morning for like multiple years when I've never said a word to you and I have no idea who you are. That's how attached you are to me. Like these parasocial relationships that people develop with streamers, YouTube personalities,
I'm
Instagram models. Everyone's guilty of it, but I think to a different degree than the people that actually get so invested that they think they have a legitimate personal relationship with whatever person they watch their YouTube videos.
Well, it's gonna sound like
every Wednesday.
This is gonna sound ridiculous, but like when PewDiePie got married to Marzia early last year, like when I watched the wedding video, I kid you not, I teared up because I've been watching them date and through like since like 2015. So like I felt like watching their wedding felt like I felt happy for them, like a sense of happiness.
That's not like unreasonable.
No, but like a sense of happiness that I relate to like one of my friends watching one of my friends' weddings. Like I don't know why. But I felt so connected to it because it's just like I've been watching PewDiePie since I was like 12. Like it's been a while. Like it feels, and like I think there's part of it that's like bad, but I think having that connection is just kind of like nice for some like at some points to like just go in and watch a YouTube video of someone that you like that you've been watching for years and you care about releases a feeling that just makes you feel kind of at home when you can even feel like kind of lost or just down. Like it may not be reality, but what is reality if you have just like what is reality other than what you're witnessing?
I agree with what you're saying, and everyone does that. But that being said, it also is kind of exposing how our phones are like a social pacifier, or just a pacifier in general. Because like, let's say you're like feeling down in the dump, and you've been watching this YouTuber for like 5 years, used to watch him as a kid, whatever, and then like something good happens to him. Like you just go on your phone, you watch a 20-minute YouTube video, and then like all of a sudden you're happy, which is a great thing that you're happy, but you're not actually dealing with the problem. I'm not like saying you do
no,
this.
No. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Like for people that it goes like deeper than what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like a little bit deeper than like, oh, PewDiePie got married. Like who wouldn't be happy for somebody that's like, PewDiePie's clearly a good guy, he got married. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
But some people, they don't deal with their own personal problems, and they don't have like a lot of friends, and all they do is just, it's like either they're watching YouTube videos and they invest in social relationships where they don't have any social like aspect to it. Like you're not talking to anyone. Like that's your social relationship, is you just listening to someone else or like watching their content. It's like that and Discord servers. That's all they have. It's a sad life.
It is a sad life. And it's hard to figure out like how to get out of that life, because at some point it just becomes,
because it messes up your motivation pathways. If you can open up your phone and immediately and know there's a very, very good chance that you're gonna find something that's gonna make you happy, why wouldn't you
go and search for something?
Like why would you go through the stress of like working out for an hour? Because then at the end of that hour, you know, it's gonna be brutal, but at the end of the hour you'll feel good because you feel healthy, and your body naturally releases dopamine. But why would you, like, nobody would be encouraged to do that. Nobody is encouraged to do that over, I'm gonna watch this YouTube video about like, and be invested in this parasocial relationship.
Yeah, like it's a problem. I don't know. Like, I don't think we are paid enough, because we're not paid at all.
But
sponsor us.
But
Raid Shadow Legends.
Actually,
I'm looking at you.
This is a perfect time to end it.
Yeah, I think we're wrapping it down.
Give us money. We'll start a Patreon. First person to give us $500 can come on the podcast as a guest.
Yeah. I know that's a high honor.
We're gonna start banging
Raid
these
Shadow
out.
Legends, please. I just want to say Raid Shadow Legends at the beginning of every YouTube video. There we go. Those are the words I'm looking for. Manscaped as well.
We need to find a sponsor, but at least our plan is, I guess we're gonna. I don't know what your plan is, but we're home for quarantine for I don't know, the rest of my life. So we have a ton of free time. We're gonna be banging out podcasts, maybe throwing a few like extra gaming videos if we get bored.
Yeah, maybe some live streams.
So listen, be ready for the future. It's coming.
Subscribe is always a good way to help us.
Pay us money. Help us drop out of college.
Hit that bell.
Hit the
ring the bell. Yeah, I forgot about the bell. The bell is
We need
important.
to get action. Hold on.
Oh, we're the horn. Yes. Hit the bell and subscribe.
That's all we want.
We can like Pablo's dogs this. Like every time we honk the horn, like
like subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. Give us money.
Okay, that probably really hurts their ears, dude. All right.
Well, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week or whenever we decide to post again next week.
I don't know. We'll do another one.
We'll figure it out.
It'll be soon. Yeah. It'll be soon.
Hopefully with better lighting, better table.
We're not going to guarantee it, but maybe.
Yeah.
All right. See ya.
Peace.